Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Winter Orchestra concert. I have the distinct pleasure of introducing Mr. Sam Weibel, who is in the middle of his third year as the orchestra director here at White Oak. Round of applause for Mr. Weibel.
Thank you, Ms. Grody. So for sixth grade parents, you haven't had a concert with me yet. I'm Sam Weibel. I grew up in Dayton, and I ended up teaching my first 4 years in, sorry, my best friend just showed up. I didn't even know he was gonna come. I taught my first 4 years in Marion, Ohio. When I ended up coming to this job, I was considering 2 jobs between Cincinnati and Engagement, Ohio. Engagement is somewhere between Dayton and Marion. Thank you, I'll be here all night. Our first piece that we're gonna work on is number 19, Rolling Along. Did anyone get that? Show of hands. All right, thank you. All right, before we start, we're actually gonna have our 6th grade. When they start the year, they literally don't know how to open their cases. So that's the very first thing we teach them in class. After that, we end up going over, you'll see a lot of the instruments have tapes on their instrument. Each instrument, they have different fingers that go on each tape. So we learn how to play their D scale, and then we end up going through a lot of their music. So the first thing we're actually gonna have you do is have the 6th grade find your parent in the audience, and they're gonna show you the different parts of their instruments. So go ahead, find your parents, y'all. All right, you can hold up your violin or viola real quick. All right, so 6th grade, go ahead, point to your scroll at the top. We'll go from top to the bottom. So scroll is just the decorative carving at the top. From the side, it kind of looks like a scroll of paper all scrolled up. Point to your peg boxes. So right below that, that's where the pegs go. And actually, my mother is a violin orchestra teacher as well, and she told me to teach them, these are the do not touch the pegs. So show them the do not touch the pegs. There you go, so right next to them. They end up learning in 8th grade how to turn them. Go ahead, point to your neck of your instrument. And then you can point to the fingerboard, which is on the neck. That's where we place our fingers. It's harder wood than the rest of their instrument. Most of the instruments are made of maple. Go ahead, point to your F holes. So that's the ornate carving of their instruments where the sound ends up coming out. Point to your bridge. That is literally the bridge where the strings go over. And that contact puts the vibration from the strings into the instrument to help it resonate. Go ahead, point to your tailpiece. That piece of plastic where the strings get attached. And then violins, violas, point to your button. It's at the very bottom. That's where the tailpiece attached to the instrument. And then cellos, you can point to your end pin, which is at the very bottom. That just anchors it to the floor. All right, we're gonna start tonight with our 6th grade. We're playing Rolling Along, going into Good King Wenceslas. Piano's broke. That's okay. All right, the piano, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, and not gonna breathe on it. You'll notice the sixth grade doesn't play with their bows at the start of the year. Bob Gillespie, who's the professor of strings at Ohio State University, he came and did a clinic with our classes a couple of years ago, and he recommended two things to me. He said, don't give them their bows until Christmas, and also, a lot of the time, he wants them to play in guitar position. So I actually gave them the option for this first concert. You'll notice a lot of them are doing guitar position on their side, where you end up plucking with your thumb, and some of them chose to go on their shoulder, where you end up plucking with your pointer finger, but they have that option. Before you end up giving their bows out, you have to get through a D major scale, which is kind of the foundation of all their music. Once you can play through a scale, you can end up playing a lot of actual sheet music outside of their book. So I just wanted to show for you today our D major scale. There we go. We're going to finish our program with our sixth grade tonight with dreidel, and then we'll do a Mozart melody. Mozart actually wrote an arrangement for a piano of this song, a theme and variations on, I forget what it is in French, but it is Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, so that will be the end of our concert tonight. So thank you so much for coming, everybody. I know a Polish sound engineer and a Czech one too. All right, thank you. Tough crowd, oh my gosh. All right, we're gonna move right along. So the first piece we're gonna play is called Winter Lights, and it has a lot of going between pizzicato, which is plucked, and arco, which is with their bow. And it has short note lengths, which are kind of supposed to imitate like the snow coming down and just the Christmas lights and holiday lights out on a house. So we'll start with Winter Lights, and then we'll move on to North Pole March. I want to give a quick shout out to I have some 8th graders that are actually going to play sleigh bells with us on this one. And then also, I want to give a shout out to Layla and Kayla. Kayla, wave your hand for a second, or hide. Kayla played violin last year, and in a group of this size, you really should have at least 2 bass players in it. So she has done an awesome job learning the bass. You may notice you can fit about 13 violins in the bass that she's playing. So it's a totally different beast, but she is doing such a great job. And Layla Conley has really helped her out. I have not taught her next to anything. She has done an awesome job helping Kayla. So round of applause for both kids. right, we're gonna move right along. This song is sort of in the realm, there's several piratey work songs that were very popular on TikTok in the past few years. The Wellerman is one of them. This is kind of in that same realm, almost like Pirates of the Caribbean-y. The song is called Sailor's Song by Mark Williams. And it's kind of in the style, one of their books that they read, they have pieces that kind of go along with their books. And at the spot where they stopped in their book this past quarter, they were ready to play this piece with my 8th grade. So it's really nice to combine. I have close to 36 in 8th grade, and having a full orchestra, my 7th grade, they're all playing one part. So we have 6-part music going on: bass part, cello part, 2 violins, and then 2 viola parts for this one. So here's my 7th and 8th grade orchestra combined for Sailor's Song. That is the first time we played together as a full group. They sounded awesome on that. Just a really quick story about this next piece that 8th grade is going to do. We often, even when I taught high school, we'd often go back to pizzicato their pieces. Just when we end up starting learning their piece, it's often a lot easier to hear the beginning of a note if you pluck it rather than bow it. Sometimes the bow actually muddies up the sound a little bit. So even when we bow a piece, we often are starting off by plucking it pizzicato. Much to the chagrin of many of my students, they're like, why are we plucking something? And part of the reason I picked this piece is because it is all pizzicato. This piece is entirely plucked, and it's actually based on a song that is simply titled Pizzicato by Leo Delibes. My mom is a concert violinist, and she was concertmaster of the Miami Valley Symphony Orchestra for a number of years. And one of my favorite concerts I heard her play was the music from Sylvia, which is a ballet by Delibes written in 1870. And if you haven't heard of it, you're in good company. It's not very popular these days, But there's a man named Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky who ended up seeing this Sylvia production in 1875. He at the time was working on one of his ballets titled Swan Lake. He had just finished the Nutcracker, which, if you know anything about ballet, Nutcracker is probably the most performed one on planet Earth, next to Swan Lake. When Tchaikovsky ended up seeing Sylvia, he went home, took his unfinished score for Swan Lake, and threw it in a fire. His wife ran to the fire and had to save his score. He had heard this music by Delibes and thought it was the most awesome thing he had heard. It really is amazing, and on your way home tonight, I encourage you to listen to Pizzicato by Delibes. It's from Sylvia, but that is what this piece is based on. So we'll start our 8th grade, or middle of their 8th grade program, with Esprit de Corps. All right, we're going to finish our program tonight with a little medley. This is called "'Tis the Season." so much for coming. Thank you.